In the quiet deserts of Arabia, long before minarets touched the sky and the call to prayer echoed across continents, a sacred month was written into the destiny of humanity. Its name was Ramadan. Its story began not with feasts or lanterns, but with hunger, patience, and divine revelation. The year was 622 AD. The sands of Mecca still carried the footsteps of caravans, and the world itself stood at a turning point. A man named Muhammad ibn Abdullah, known among his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, had already begun to receive revelations that would change history forever. These revelations were not sent in palaces or on thrones, but in solitude, reflection, and sacrifice. It was during the ninth month of the lunar calendar that the first verses of the Quran descended from the heavens in the Cave of Hira. The angel Jibril appeared commanding, "Iqra," read, recite, remember. That moment marked the spiritual birth of Ramadan. But Ramadan was not revealed as a celebration. It was revealed as a test. As years passed and the Muslim community grew, fasting during Ramadan was ordained. From dawn until sunset, believers were commanded to abstain from food, drink, and worldly desires. Not to suffer, but to remember. Not to starve, but to purify. Among the early believers was a young man named Abdullah ibn Umar. He would wake before dawn with his mother, Fatima bint Said, sharing dates and water in the silence of suhoor. As the sun rose over Medina, hunger followed them through the day, yet so did something greater: discipline, humility, and faith. Ramadan was never just about hunger. It was about controlling the tongue when anger rose, about lowering the gaze when temptation appeared, about giving charity when one had little, about standing in prayer at night when the body begged for sleep. As Islam spread beyond Arabia, Ramadan traveled with it. From the olive groves of Palestine to the markets of Damascus, from the Nile in Egypt to the plains of Persia, Muslims carried the moon-sighted month in their hearts. Each land observed Ramadan differently, yet its essence remained the same. In Cairo, lanterns known as fainas lit the streets. In Istanbul, drums woke families for suhoor. In West Africa, elders gathered children to tell stories of the prophets after iftar. In Indonesia, the call to Maghrib echoed across islands, breaking the fast with dates and gratitude. Yet wherever Ramadan went, it carried the same rules. Fasting was obligatory for every adult Muslim who was healthy and able. From the break of dawn at Fajr until sunset at Maghrib, no food, no drink, no intimacy. Those who were sick, traveling, elderly, pregnant, or breastfeeding were granted mercy, allowed to make up the fast later or feed the poor instead. Ramadan taught balance, worship without cruelty, discipline without despair. One of the greatest nights of Ramadan was hidden within its final 10 nights. Laylat al-Qadr, the night of power, a night better than 1,000 months. On this night, angels descended, destinies were written, and prayers were answered. Many believed it was on the 27th night. Others searched every odd night with hope and tears. There was a woman named Aisha bin Khalid who spent her nights whispering dua into the darkness, asking Allah for forgiveness, for her children, for a world filled with mercy. She did not know which night was Laylat al-Qadr, but she knew Allah was listening every night. And so Ramadan became a month of nights. Long prayers called Taraweeh filled mosques. Rows of believers stood shoulder to shoulder, rich beside poor, kings beside laborers, bowing to the same Lord. As centuries passed, Ramadan remained unchanged even as empires rose and fell. In Andalusia, scholars fasted while writing books that shaped civilization. In Timbuktu, students memorized Quran by lantern light. In Mughal India, fasting Muslims broke their fast with neighbors of different faiths, sharing compassion beyond borders. One tradition grew especially strong, traveling to Mecca during Ramadan to perform Umrah. Unlike Hajj, Umrah could be performed any time of year, but during Ramadan its reward was said to be equal to Hajj with the Prophet. And so Muslims traveled from every corner of the earth. A merchant named Yusuf al-Maghribi journeyed from Morocco. A farmer named Rahman Khan came from Pakistan. A teacher named Zainab Hassan arrived from Nigeria. Different languages, different skin tones, one purpose. When they entered Masjid al-Haram and saw the Kaaba, tears flowed freely. Hunger vanished, fatigue dissolved. Standing in prayer during Ramadan in Mecca felt like standing at the center of the world. Ramadan also taught generosity. Zakat and Sadaqah increased during this month. Tables extended beyond families to neighbors and strangers. Mosques fed the hungry. The poor were honored guests. A child named Hamza once asked his father, "Why do we give more in Ramadan?" His father replied, "Because when you feel hunger, you understand mercy." This understanding is the heart of Ramadan. As time marched forward into the modern age, Ramadan did not disappear. It adapted. In cities where the sun barely set, scholars issued guidance. In countries where Muslims were minorities, fasting became a quiet act of strength. In war zones, refugees broke their fast with hope instead of food. Today, over 1.5 billion Muslims observe Ramadan across more than 50 countries. From Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Nigeria, Morocco, Turkey, Indonesia, Pakistan, Malaysia, Sudan, Senegal, Bosnia, the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, and beyond. Ramadan unites a global ummah. Time zones differ, cultures differ, recipes differ. But when the crescent moon is sighted, the same intention is made. I fast tomorrow for Allah. And then, at the end of the month, comes the day of joy, Eid al-Fitr. After 30 days of fasting, prayer, restraint, and reflection, Muslims wake before sunrise, dress in their finest clothes, and gather for Eid prayer. Zakat al-Fitr is given so that no one is left hungry on a day of celebration. Children laugh, families reunite, old grudges fade. Eid is not a reward for hunger, but a reward for obedience, a reminder that discipline leads to joy. From 622 AD until today, Ramadan has survived empires, colonization, technology, and time. It has remained because it answers a human need, to pause, to reflect, to reconnect with purpose. Ramadan teaches that food does not control us, desire does not rule us, anger does not define us. It teaches patience in a world of speed, gratitude in a world of excess, and mercy in a world of division. And as the moon fades and returns year after year, Ramadan whispers the same message it whispered in the desert centuries ago. Slow down, remember your Creator, remember the poor, remember who you are. For 1 month the soul leads and the body follows, and that is the timeless power of Ramadan. Tales by Sora.